Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my. It's a pretty weird video today. Today I'm going to be bringing you my pool matches for the GPC World Tournament tourney the World Tournament that I was invited to. And basically, however, depending on how good I do in this tournament, it will vary if I make the GPC or not. So I did play two pool matches, and I was supposed to play three of them, but I'll explain why I'm only going to show two matches, but for now, let's just go over my first match, which was over Call Me 911, aka Bob. And as you can, you can see his team. I'll flip it over and when I do start the battle. But as you can see, my squad on the other side, and I'll actually go over what the sets were, starting with my Flygon, which was Yachiberry. Oh wait, let me go over his team first. Yeah, his team. We did draft 6 Pokemon, so you did know exactly what you were going to go up against when you did play your opponent. And his exact 6 Pokemon are Mega Altaria, Starmie, Nidoqueen, Volcarona, Normal Aggron, and Shiftry. Of course, rocking the Starmie Volcarona core, which is definitely pretty scary. That was my biggest fear. And I wasn't too scared of the Mega Altaria since I did have a Mega Venusaur. And my team is rocking the Mega Venusaur Slowbro Rotom Heat Core with Cobalion, Honchkrow, and Flygon. So I was pretty satisfied in my draft. I kind of wanted Zoroark, but I did end up getting Honchkrow as a result. I wanted Honchkrow because I wanted something else that can tip the base 100 speed, and it can go either special or physical, but I guess Honchkrow can do the same thing, but it does lack speed. But besides that, it does the same exact job, and it hits a lot harder. So anyways, let me go over my squad, and then I'll go over the replay. My first Pokemon consists of Yachiberry Flygon, just in case Nidoqueen is like Shukaberry, and if I go for Earthquake and he lives because of the Shukaberry, he can go for Ice Beam, and I would live due to the Yachiberry. If he isn't Shukaberry, then I kill him. Also, if he is Scarf Nidoqueen, I can also eat the Yachiberry and kill him back with Earthquake. And then I just have Stone Edge for the Volcarona. With the spread, I speed tie with a max speed Volcarona before a Quiver Dance. I have the Fog just so I can get rid of the rocks that he may set up. And his only Star Rock setter, as you can see on the replay, is his Nidoqueen and his Aggron, which both get offensively pressured by Flygon. So that's something to note. Oh god, my mic just got plugged. And I just have U-turn for initiative. Okay, cool. Stay in there. Okay, hopefully it doesn't move anymore. Anyways, my next Pokemon is my King, my Mega Venusaur, with HP Rock, Earthquake, and Sludge Bomb. With this spread, I don't get 3 KO by a modest Life Orb Nidoqueen by Sludge Wave. Earth Power, of course, has slightly less damage output, so of course I would compare it to Sludge Wave. And I can also eat a good amount of hits from his physical attackers, such as Aggron, and I can also eat 3 Quiver Dances even after I can eat 3 Fire Blasts even after a Quiver Dance. And I do have HP Rock, but after a +1 special defense boost, it doesn't do too much to the Volcarona, but it still will hurt reasonably well, considering how much special attack a Mega Venusaur does have, even not invested. And I'm also carrying the EQ, so I can hit the Nidoqueen reasonably hard, as well as the Aggron. And as you'll see, I don't have Giga Drain, so obviously Earthquake will be able to come through versus the Aggron. And then Sludge Bomb. Yeah, Sludge Bomb is just there for stab, hits Shiftry, hits Starmie, and it hits Mega Altaria, of course. I don't want to just not have anything to touch Mega Altaria, because if it has Roost, it'd be able to beat me 1v1, of course. So yeah, that's my Mega Venusaur set, and then my next Pokemon is my Slowbro. AV, so I can handle an offensive Starmie, because besides this, I don't have to clean the switch into offensive Starmie, because I'm not Passion Berry Rotom Heat, and I don't have a lot of special bulk on my Pokemon. And my Mega Venusaur, of course, is weak to one of its stabs, so that I want to avoid. So I just decided on bringing a Assault Vest Slowbro, a little bit of defense investments. I can handle some physical attacks from the Mega Aggron, and even live 1 knockoff from the Shiftry if it comes down to it. Of course, it doesn't get pursued, so I can easily switch out versus it and easily go into something like Cobalion or even the Flygon. But Sucker Punch plus knockoff would KO me, and that wouldn't be good. Anyways, I'm bringing the Ice Beam because it hits the Mega Altaria pretty hard, unless he's like the King DDD set. HP Rock because it hits Volcarona pretty hard. Shadow Ball because it 2 KOs an offensive Starmie. And then Scald because Scald is the greatest move in the game. So that's basically my Slowbro. It's not meant to be an offensive Pokemon. It's just there to stop Starmie from just nuking stuff if he's Life Orb Analytic or Specs even. Anyways, my next Pokemon is my Hunter. I am Passion Berry. Just in case he does bring in the Starmie, I can at least hit it with a Volt Switch and then possibly go into like my Honchkrow and Pursuit Trap it. As you'll see, that is my moveset. Oh, man, I can't believe I said I wasn't Passion Berry when I did have the Passion Berry. Man, I apologize for that. Oh gosh. Anyways, I also have the Thunder Waves because I can T-Wave the Volcarona, and then I have the Psych Up because I can copy its stats, but in all reality, that wouldn't do me much of anything. T-Wave is just there for safe reliability for my Cobalion and my Honchkrow, and even my Flygon. So, also, I'm kind of afraid of him bringing a Charty Berry Volcarona because I do have Stun Edge on 2 Pokemon, and with a Charty Berry, he would be able to eat 1 hit, and if he has like HP Ice, he would kill my Flygon, and then a Fury Dance would just OHKO a normal Cobalion, but in this case, not mine, because my Cobalion is Aqua Berry this week. Well, not this week, just for this match. I did all my matches in, I guess, a week, but I'll explain later on what the scenario actually was, but yeah. I have enough speed to outspeed his fastest Pokemon, which is his base 100. Pokemon's base 100. Yeah, Volcarona. I have enough speed to outspeed a non-Quiver Dance boosted Volcarona. And I have Swords Dance, Stun Edge, Close Combat, and X-Scissor. And in all reality, I should have probably ran Iron Head on this set because I don't outspeed Starmie to begin with. And because of this, I don't touch Mega Altaria at all, and you'll be able to see how that comes into play later on in the match when I do start the replay. And my next Pokemon and my last one is my AV Honchkrow because it does eat a couple of hits from the Starmie, and I also pressure it with Brave Bird and Pursuit. Most likely, I would try pursuing first turn, and if he doesn't switch first turn, I would pursue again the second turn because I feel like that would just be the smartest sequence of plays I can make, because Sucker Punch is just way too obvious in this Pokemon that you would make the opposite of what a Sucker Punch would be, and that would be to switch or even click sub if he has it. So, and yeah, and I have the superpower for the Aggron, Brave Bird for stab, and basically the Volcarona, and I guess Mega Altaria if I do somehow get to let a hit off on it. If it's like T-Wade potentially from my Rotom, and then Sucker Punch and Pursuit for priority and stab, and possibly on the potential switch out on the Starmie. But yeah, that's my team, and now I will start the replay. Let me make sure music is turned off. Let me switch my sides really quick. Anyways, let me go over what my logic was here. I decided to lead my Mega Venusaur because his team doesn't have a good time touching me. Worst case scenario would be if he let us the Starmie, but I have a pretty good switch into that. And he does lead with the Nidoqueen, and as you'll see from the damage on the turn here, he does 45%, which according to my calc is a modest max special attack Life Orb Nidoqueen. And I'm like, okay, this thing cannot beat me 1v1, and I do have the synthesis for this Pokemon. That way, I would be able to beat it with Earthquake. And as you'll see, let me put this on slow, yeah. As you'll see, he will click the Sludge Wave, but he does unfortunately get the crit against me, and the Pokemon that was supposed to hard counter the Mega Altaria is now dead. Shoot, my mic keeps unplugging. Anyways, I'm going to go to my Flygon. I'm going to scare him out, but instead of going for U-turn and making a bad play, I'm going to click the Earthquake. He isn't Sugar Berry because I found out he was Life Orb from the turns on my Mega Venusaur. Now he does go into the Altaria. I have no reason to not click U-turn versus this thing because there's nothing else I can do. But I'm going to U-turn here. At this moment, I realize I lost my only counter to this thing. I'm like, what do I even do? So I'm like, okay, here's what I feel like is the best play. I'm going to go into my Rotom Heat, I believe. Do I? Yeah, I do go into my Rotom Heat because it resists one of its stabs. It's most likely not carrying a dragon move, as he does go for the dragon dance. I'm going to click T-Wave here. It's just my by far best play, and not because it slows him down, but also that beautiful chance to paralyze is just beautiful. Anyways, I'm going to go for the Volt Switch here, and at this point I'm like, crap, do I just go to my Slowbro because I don't have much of a counter? But you know what, I am going to go to my Cobalion, and I'm going to hope he doesn't click Earthquake here. But he wouldn't do that, but he does get paralyzed, so I'd never know he was going to click. Maybe he just clicked DD again, maybe he did click Return. And now, here's where mind games come into play. I'm going to hope he gets scared of the Iron Head and switches into Volcarona to potentially try to get a Flame Body Burn against me. So I'm going to click Stone Edge because that's pretty much my only play. I could have also clicked Swords Dance here, but I didn't want him to attack me for an Earthquake potentially because that would do a lot to me. So I'm just going to go straight for the Stone Edge, and he doesn't go straight into the Volcarona, which was by far the best thing he could do for me. And I go for the Stone Edge, and I absolutely destroy it with a critical hit that did not matter whatsoever. And now his biggest offensive threat next to Mega Altaria is now gone. Now he goes into the Starmie. I have a pretty good counter to this thing with my AV Slowbro. And as you'll see, I'm going to go into my AV Slowbro, and he is just going to indeed click the Scald. Scald is about 13%, and he is Life Orb. So I was like, okay, I called the offensive Starmie. That was good. So now at this point, I'm just going to click the Shadow Ball because it's my best super effective damaging move for this thing. But never mind, I lied. I clicked Scald because the chance to burn was pretty cool. I could force it to get the natural cure, but I don't get the burn. And now I'm just forced to switch into my Rotom Heat. I do have Signal Beam on this thing, but he does go for the Explosion right off the bat, and I'm like, okay. So I guess now Shiftry is gone, which is good because I didn't have the best wishes to the world for that. Now he goes back into Starmie, and I have a Passion Berry, but according to my calc, I don't live a Scald, even if he's just timid. So I just have to go into my Slowbro. And it was at this moment that I realized I forgot to put Regenerator on my Slowbro. So not only did I make a bad team building option with not putting Iron Head on my Cobalion, but I also forgot to make this Regenerator. And I didn't even realize it until later on in the matches. You'll see in the chat if you are paying attention. Anyways, I'm going to go for the Scald, and he goes into his Mega Altaria, and it does 10%. And I'm like, this, oh god. Okay, so I'm just going to click Ice Beam and hope this does a good amount of damage. And as you'll see, this is going to do absolutely nothing. It's going to do 27%. And he is going to go for the nothing because he gets paralyzed, which was good because now he's either forced to click Roost or he's going to attack me here. So I'm going to go into my Cobalion because it's my best play possible, because I can set up an SD and start hitting harder with my non-stab Stone Edge. But he actually goes for the Heal Bell, so now his Para on his Starmie and his Para is gone. And that also proved that the Starmie was most likely analytic. Anyways, he goes for that, and as you'll see, I still outspeed, so obviously he was running a very, very bulky set. And he is going to go for the Earthquake, and this does 61%, which isn't too much, and I don't have to risk the Stone Edge. I can just go for the X-Scissor. I don't lower my defenses, which is good, but in all reality, it probably didn't matter. And now he's going to go into his Starmie, and I would normally have a pretty good answer to this thing, but my Regenerator on my Slowbro is non-existent. So as a result, I'm going to be paying the price as he goes for the Scald, and after that, I'm going to be in range of any other move he clicks versus me because I wasn't Regenerator, and I can't just click Shadow Ball or Scald against this thing anymore. He goes for the T-Bolt, which if I had Regen, I probably couldn't live even after burn. I might have been able to though, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to go into my Honchkrow, as I figured he would predict the Sucker Punch, but he does just go straight for the Pursuit, and he will para me right off the bat, which is pretty scary. But guess what? He doesn't para me, and I'm able to get the kill with the Pursuit. So Starmie is gone. He thought it was Scarf Honchkrow, which is why he just went straight for the Thunderbolt. And as a result, that kind of sucks. So now I'm just going to go for the Sucker Punch and do a lot to that Aggron. He's going to go for the Detail here, I believe. Yeah. Which means he was most likely a defensive spread, but that Sucker Punch still did a lot of damage considering. Anyways, I'm going to go into my Rotom Heat, and I don't have Overheat on this thing because it was pretty unnecessary to bring for my opponent. So I'm just going to Thunder Wave because it's my best play in case he's like a Rock Polish set. But since I saw Detail, that's most likely not the case. But I just want to be more safe than sorry, because honestly, I just want to make sure I can pull out a win against all my opponents in my pool. So now I'm going to go into my Cobalin, I believe. No, I'm going to go to my Brian because I'm like, you know what? I want to give my Flygon a kill. That would be pretty sweet if I do get that to happen. He was Metal Burst 30, which is definitely pretty cool. It was probably his answer to Flygon. But in my opinion, Shukaberry was probably the better option. That way he can live after Stealth Rock. But I am going to get the EQ kill here, and as a result, I am going to get the win, which is great. But now let me explain the second match, which was versus Reckless Bat. The thing is, when I was building my team, I was building for McAdee, and when he was on, I was like, oh, I built my team, I'm ready to go. And then when we hopped into the match, I was like, oh, this is the wrong team. I didn't build for this team. I built for McAdee's team, which is kind of different. But I was like, you know what? If I lose, I lose, because my matchup was already pretty good as it was. And looking at his team, the only weakness that I possibly had was to the Bisharp, because my only Pokemon that has any sort of super effective coverage for it is my Cobalin, because I'm not running Overheat on my Rotom because it's unnecessary for McAdee's team. So that's probably a problem. And then I see a Meowstic, so I'm like, oh, it's dual screens with SD, probably Lomberry Bisharp, something like that. It's kind of a problem, but hopefully it doesn't do too much to me. But I might as well just go over my Pokemon's move sets, but I actually don't have it typed down right now, so I'm gonna have to pause the recording. I'll show it to you once I'm done. I'll be right back. Anyways, as you'll see right here, this is my team for McAdee, which was Megalodios, Talonflame, Milotic, Rotom, Exploud, and Uxie. But sadly, this team is going to be used against a completely different team. A team of Landers T, Rotom Wash, Bisharp, Crobat, Zoroark, and Meowstic. Coincidentally, 3 out of 4 people in this division had a Rotom. I had Rotom Heat. This opponent has Rotom Wash, and McAdee has Rotom Mow, which was pretty cool. All we needed was like a Rotom Frost on Bob's group, and it would have been a complete party. But as you see, my Mega Venusaur was basically built to handle Rotom Mow, Uxie, Uxie potentially, and Explode. But in this case, it's just here to potentially be a wall to the Landers, and potentially Zoroark, Bisharp, not really. But anyways, my next Pokemon was my Rocky Helmet Slowbro for his Talonflame. And that didn't really work out too well, as you'll see, because he doesn't have Talonflame, but he does have Crobat. Which, if the Crobat doesn't have Toxic, this thing stops it reasonably well. Especially if I can get a burn. I Rotom Heat was specially defensive this week with Shadow Ball. Well, for McAdee, Shadow Ball for Megalodios, but if he was sub Latios, I'm pretty sure I lost right then and there. But it was basically supposed to be meant as a support Pokemon for Pokemon such as Rotom, Uxie, and even Talonflame. But in this case, it doesn't really do too much. The only Pokemon it actually kind of stops is Crobat, and besides that, it gets pummeled by a lot of stuff. My Flygon with Dragon Rush, a little bit of heat because it's a little stronger than Dragon Claw, a little weaker than Outrage, but not too weak. It's 100 power. Same accuracy as hitting an Iron Tail, and if I hit the Dragon Rush, that's great, and if I don't, then I guess it wasn't meant to be. But yeah, that's Flygon Scarf. It was just meant to outspeed a Megalodios if it was max speed, and I'd be able to destroy it with Dragon Rush, but in this case that won't happen. But a Scarf Flygon can easily pummel his team, but not having an Earthquake was kind of huge because McAdee's team didn't really need Earthquake. I could have ran it over like Dragon Rush, but honestly, I didn't see why EQ would be important, and as a result, that's one coverage move for Bisharp that I don't have. In fact, this Pokemon is the only Pokemon that has any sort of coverage for Bisharp, with Taunt, Stealth Rock, Close Combat, and Volt Switch. This Pokemon was meant to just stop Uxie and even handle Exploud if it came to it. But in this case, it's basically here to stop Bisharp from sweeping me. I did Honchkrow doesn't have superpower because it was unneeded. This Pokemon was basically my only counter to Mega Latios, and if this thing died, I pretty much lost to it if it was Combine Sub. But yeah, that's basically the team. We'll see how it handles versus a team that I didn't even build for. If I win this match, I most likely make it past pools. And the reason why there won't be a third match, I will explain after this. Anyways, let me turn off the music and let me switch my sides. And let me put this to slow. He leads with his Crobat as I choose to lead with my Mega Venusaur just so I can get the Mega off immediately. And he does lead with a Pokemon that can potentially hurt me, especially since I don't have any defensive investment. So I'm going to go into my Cobalion. Predicting either a U-turn or a Brave Bird. U-turn doesn't do anything, and I'm going to be back at full after leftovers, as he will go into his Landers, I believe. Yes, he does. And I have no idea if he's Scarf, if he is defensive of Stealth Rock. And at this point, I really have no reason to. Well, I wanted to be real, and I clicked Taunt, predicting the Stealth Rock because I didn't have the cleanest switch in the world, and I didn't want him to click Knock Off of my Slowbro. He does click U-turn though, and I did outspeed, so he's not Scarf. That was something to note. As he's going to go into his Meowstic here, and I'm pretty sure right now he's going to try to set up some screens. So I'm just going to go into my Honchkrow and I'll just try to hurt this thing as much as possible before it sets up too many screens against me. And as you'll see, I'm going to go into my Honchkrow. And I didn't have any nicknames on these Pokemon at the time, which is kind of sad. Anyways, I'm going to go for the Night Slasher, I believe. Do I? Yeah, I'm trying to get a crit here to Reflect, and it doesn't work. And now I'm going to go for Pursuit, predicting the switch, as he does go for the Thunder Wave immediately. And as you'll see, if he does switch, it will kill. He does switch, but I do unfortunately get paralyzed. So that kind of sucks because once screens do go away, he'll be able to set them right back up. And to make it even worse, he goes into this Pokemon, and I don't have any coverage for this thing. So I'm like, okay, I gotta go into my Cobalion. No, I'm gonna go into my Rotom Heat first, and I'm going to make him predict that I'm going to go for Willow, so he's not going to click Sucker Punch here. And I'm going to go for the Thunderbolt, and from Light Screen that does absolutely nothing, and Knockoff will just absolutely destroy my life. And considering he stayed in or didn't go for another SD on my Rotom, that pretty much confirms that he was Lumberry. Anyways, I'm going to click Close Combat, according to my calc. I could kill if he was Standard. He is not Standard. He has a lot more HP investment than I thought he would have. And he's going to Metal Burst me and absolutely just destroy me. And that was pretty cool. Because now at this point, I have one last option to win this match. Well, I could have also sacked Slowbro, but I need Slowbro for Pokemon like Crobats. And if I lose Slowbro, then I lose the match. Because at that point, I wouldn't have much to kill Crobat / Landers. So here's what has to go down. I have to hope he thinks I outspeed. And I have to hope he clicks Sucker Punch. But here's the thing, I'm not clicking Giga Drain or anything like that. I'm clicking Leech Seed, and I'm going to hope he clicks Sucker as I click Leech Seed. If he does, I have a chance to still win this match, considering I have this isn't even the right team. And he does click the Sucker Punch, which is absolutely phenomenal. And I don't miss my Leech Seed here, which was even better. If I missed, that would have been terrible. As his Light Screen will actually go away, so now my Giga Drains will be doing a lot more, but it's not like it really matters too much because he will be going into the Crobat. But with my Slowbro around, this thing isn't too much of a problem as long as he doesn't have Toxic, like I mentioned. I'm not sure if he's going to click U-turn again. I almost stayed in, but I have nothing to really hurt this thing. But I switch as he goes for the U-turn, takes a good 16%, as he will probably go into something. And he's going to go into his Meowstic, trying to set up the screens again. So I'm going to... Okay, yeah, here's what I was thinking. I want to try to stall screens as long as possible. So I go for the Skull, and I hope for a burn, but which is better because I do try to stall more screens. And I think he saw what I was trying to go with, so he's going to go into the Rotom Wash as I click Toxic, and it hits the Rotom. And this is going to be important to note later on. And I'm not sure if this is the real Rotom or a Slowbro. Or a Zoroark, so... I'm going to go into my King. This will pretty much confirm if he is or not. And he does go for the Dark Pulse. So I'm like, oof, that's interesting. I'm pretty sure this is probably the Zoroark. So I'm like, okay, that's definitely kind of weird. But at this point, I'm going to click the Gauge Drain because I have no reason not to. Or do I click Lead Seed? I do click Lead Seed as he goes into the Crobat because the obvious Crobat switch in was pretty obvious. And now I have no reason to not go into my Slowbro because I will be able to force some Rocky Helmet damage if he does touch me. And in this game I do have my Regenerator, so I will be getting HP back as he takes recoil plus Rocky Helmet damage, and that Brave Bird does a lot. I am max defense, and that did a lot. And he's not banded, as you'll see. He will go for the Roost later on in the match, spoilers. So he was not banded, he was just very, very, very offensive. Anyways, he goes into his Zoroark, and I click T-Wave, and I wasn't sure if this was Zoroark or not, and I click T-Wave. I'm like, oh, this is the Zoroark. That's definitely kind of awkward. And which was kind of weird because the Rotom had Dark Pulse, and this one doesn't have. This one wasn't Toxic, and then it switched in, and it was Zoroark. So I don't. I'm not sure if his Rotom actually had Dark Pulse or not, or how that worked because he never clicked Heal Bell once. So I'm gonna go into my AV Honchkrow. Hope he is a special form of Zoroark, and he is. And now I have no reason to not click Brave Bird because it will hit everything reasonably hard, even the landers that he does choose to switch into, as I don't get paralyzed, and Brave Bird will be doing 42%, which is not bad at all. So at this point, I have no reason to not go into my Flygon because I have a feeling he's either one going to click Earthquake, or well, he's going to click something, not Knockoff though. As he does click Stone Edge, and that does a lot. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I have a lot of HP investment, and that's resisted. I'm like, geez, that did way too much. Anyways, he's gonna go into the real Rotom, that's Toxic, and I go for the Dragon Rush, hoping that it would hit the landers, and it hit the Rotom. And at this point, I want to hope I hit another Dragon Rush, and I do. I hit 2 out of 2 Dragon Rushes, which was pretty much the highlight of the game, which is pretty cool on its own because you never get to see Flygon run it because it's pretty unreliable. Now he goes into his Meowstic, and I'm locked, so I can't go for U-turn. I'm going to go into my Jose because I want to try to stall out the screens that he will choose to go for. And I'm going to click T-Wave here. Worst case scenario, he goes into the Landers, and I can't touch Landers with the Thunder Wave, but he does stay in. I will be able to burn 1 turn of Light Screen and 1 turn of Reflect as I switch because I want to try to stall out as much screens as possible as I go into my Honchkrow. But he will switch as well as he goes into the Landers, I believe. Yeah, he does. And at this point, this is kind of bad. And I'm going to hope he doesn't do anything to hurt me too bad as I go into my Mega Venusaur. And he goes for a U-turn, does 16%, which is good because that will not, of course, hurt me. And now that Meowstic is, of course, becoming more of a problem because if I had landed the Pursuit and not gotten parried, none of these screens would be here, and I would probably have a much easier opportunity of winning this match. As a result now, it's going to be kind of difficult, but as I'm looking at the match, the only way I could possibly lose is if my Rocky Helmet gets knocked off and then the Crobat just beats my Slowbro 1v1 with Brave Bird / Roost. Unless I got a burn, I would then beat it 1v1. And not to mention Scarf Flygon can also clean up the match if none of the screens are up, and if I kill the Landers before it drops an Intimidate on my Flygon. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. And at this point, he goes into the Crobat. He's clicked U-turn more than Brave Bird, but I'm pretty sure he's going to click Brave Bird here because he has no reason not to. That or Roost. And he does go for the Roost, and I did predict that because he's been clicking like U-turn every single time. So now I'm going to be able to get my HP back up. That was a pretty ballsy play on my part, but I felt like it was just a better play in general. Now I have no reason to not go into my Slowbro, as he will switch into his Meowstic as I go into my Slowbro. And then I'm like, okay, Reflect is about to run out, so you know what? I need to go into my Honchkrow because I don't want this thing set up and then Reflect because the majority of my offensive threats are physical, and I do not want any more Reflects up. It's just the worst thing that can happen to me. So I'm going to go for the Pursuit as he clicks Reflect because there's literally nothing else he can do. As I click Pursuit, and it will kill. So not only will the Reflect go off here, but he will only have 1 turn of Light Screen left, and my physical attacker is on the field. I believe. Never mind, I misread. Anyways, he's gonna go into his Crobat. I have a pretty good answer, and it's known as my Slowbro. And this is gonna be a long video when I do upload this. Jesus Christ! And he's gonna go for Brave Bird. It pretty much does the same exact amount of damage as it did last time. Now I'm not sure if I should click Slack Off or Scald. I believe I do click the Scald. Do I click Scald? Or no, I click Recover. I do click the Slack Off. Excuse me. Slowbro does not get Recover. And now I'm like, okay, I'm willing to eat a knockoff to kill this thing because that means his Intimidate user is out of the way once and for all, and I will be able to kill this thing with the Scald, and now my Scarf Flygon with Outrage pretty much wins the match at this point. Well, depends really. And now he's going to go back into his Crobat, and I have no reason to switch. I'm just going to sack this thing to the Brave Bird. I was worried that he would click Roost and put himself out of range of Outrage, but he doesn't, which is phenomenal. Because now I'm going to be able to go into my Flygon, and I'm going to be able to go for Outrage, and this will kill. Now he's going to be able to go into his Zoroark, and I have no idea how much investment he has on his attack to do a Sucker Punch. So he's going to go into his Zoroark, and he will go for the Sucker Punch, but he does get parried, which does come back to bite him in the butt after I did get parried on my Honchkrow. And Outrage will kill the Zoroark, and I will win 3-0 versus Reckless Bat and move on to 2-0. And now here's where I go over my third match versus Macadee. Well, I'll tell you right now, that match did not happen. I couldn't find the time because I was busy with reading my summer book for AP English coming up for my school here this fall. And as a result, I've been kind of busy, and I will continue to be busy. Hopefully, it doesn't come in the way of my other leagues. In fact, a lot of my summer stuff has been coming in the way of my recordings, and as a result, I haven't been able to record a lot of my battles for the past couple weeks. But yeah, as a result, I wasn't able to battle Macadee, so I was just given the forfeit because I didn't make the deadline. I was like, you know what, it's fine. I deserve it. I felt like I was going to get it anyways, and if I wasn't able to find a way to battle him, that's 100% my fault. I should have prioritized my time a little better, but you know what? What are you going to do about it? I do finish 2-1, and since Bob and Reckless Bat both finish 1-2, and the top two people make it in the knockout stage, I, Joshua, and the Texas Turtwigs will move on to the knockout round. And I do play somebody, and I do have his team on the Google Doc open on my iPod, as I'll be able to open it up right now. But yeah, I was able to make it onto the knockout round, which is pretty good because I'm pretty sure that's good enough to make it to GPC. If the admins of the GPC are watching this, it would be an honor to be able to join your league, and how I would love to be able to get better than I already am, because in my opinion, I'm not that good. If I can definitely be better than I am right now. And having the opportunity to get better is my dream, and of course that's the goal in my mind, as well as be successful in my real life, of course. But anyways, I go up against Adam, and his team does consist of Clefable, Scizor, Mega Blastoise, Haxorus, Electros, and Darmanitan. He will be the guy that I go up against first in the knockout round. Hopefully I'll be able to pull out a win. If I don't, I don't. That's completely fine, I guess. Anyways, that was the match. Well, the matches, as I won't be able to finish 2-1. I might have actually been able to finish 3-0, but I don't know. It would have been a pretty tough match versus Macadee and his Mega Latios. If I would have been able to kill Mega Latios without too many casualties, I probably would have been able to win. But you know what? We'll never know. Maybe I'll play him in the knockout stages. You never know. Anyways, that is basically the pool matches. Hopefully, I was pretty decent with my commentary, because I'm not too good at my commentary when it comes to this kind of stuff. I mean, in my thought process. Hopefully, I've been getting better at that, because I want to be as professional as, the top tier battlers in the draft league format, like Trev, and I can name people all day. George, I can name Adrive, I can name Miguel. Miguel, even though he hasn't been performing to the best of his abilities, but I do still hold him to high regard as a battler. And who else can I mention? There's so many people that I can mention that I don't want to waste too much time talking about, because I did spend a lot of time recording already. Man, it's going to take forever to upload. Anyways, I'm H-Trainer Josh, and I'll be seeing you on my next video, which will hopefully be either ISCO or SBL related. So yeah, au revoir, and